think it's such an ambitious thing to it's such a courageous and a sort of almost impossible thing to say, I have a thought about something and I'm going to try and put it in front of you in the hopes that you might hear it in the way that I mean it to be heard, or see it in the way that I see it myself. That's incredibly ambitious and very touching. And that's what art is.
Okay, Tilda, thank you so much for being here with us at Javeriana University.
My honor.
The first thing I want to ask you is how was working here in Colombia and especially here in the university?
Oh, I mean, it was really like a dream. The last 2 years I've been thinking about it a lot. Something about Colombia feels very familiar to me. I think there are other Scottish people who might have said the same thing, and maybe Colombians who go to Scotland feel a similar kind of kinship. But it's a very graceful place for me to be. And to be in this university was a beautiful thing, because the scenes that we shot here were all to do with a kind of reverie. And there's this scene when I walk past here and stand and look in here, and nothing was grown, and now I come back and it's like a jungle. Like, you know, coming along this corridor and hearing everybody through the doors playing music is, you know, I could wander backwards and forwards like a ghost here for months.
Okay, in Memoria, the film that you shot it here in Colombia, Jessica Holland, your character, talks about a sound from the core of the earth.
Yeah.
Today, we as a species are facing our biggest challenge, climate change, fires, floods, people migrating, having to migrate to other parts of the country. However, it feels like we are not hearing Earth,
Yeah.
nor scientists about what we have to do. So do you think that films and art in general may help us hear that urgent call from Earth?
I think art is, you know, it's a way in which we can hear the urgent call of other beings. It's our portal through which we can show our hearts and show our fears and show our desires. I'm always curious as to why, you know, in the 1400s, were people as concerned? I bet they were. I bet they were just as concerned. I bet there were just as many floods, and there were just as many eruptions of volcanoes and migrations and genocides and all the rest. I think, if anything, the problem that we face is the idea that we can control all of this, that we can do better, and that we're all incredibly rational and organized. That's our biggest problem. And art is a space in which we can be disorganized and irrational. And so it's like a sort of place we can be marinated into having better hearing. But I don't know whether, I mean, the way to hear the earth is to listen to the earth, and to listen to the trees, and to listen to nature, who's constantly shouting at us. But I think art is really more a portal for humans, to speak to humans and to listen to humans. That can increase our hearing.
You have also said that cinema is an empathy machine.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that, and what kind of empathy do you think we need today?
I think it's such an ambitious thing it's such a courageous and a sort of almost impossible thing to say, I have a thought about something and I'm going to try and put it in front of you in the hopes that you might hear it in the way that I mean it to be heard, or see it in the way that I see it myself. That's incredibly ambitious and very touching. And that's what art is. It's like the scene in the Memoria film where the woman that I play says to someone, I have this sound in my head, and it sounds different in my head, I'm sure, but I'm going to try and explain it to you. That's the project of art. I think it's, you know, and then for us as the audience to have the humility to step into someone else's shoes, to step into an artist's shoes, to step into a filmmaker's shoes in particular, and go, okay, I will use the next 2 hours of my life to look through your eyes and see what you see, and I'll leave myself outside, and I'll step in your shoes, and I will see things in the way that you see them. I mean, that's really beautiful.
Yeah, communication and connection is very important for you, for your work, how you work. So I would like to ask you, what would you say to young people who are starting projects, who want to make some big changes in all the situations that they are facing, and sometimes it can be a little frustrated. What would you tell them?
I would just say, you're right. Whatever you think, whatever you feel, whatever you see, you're right. And if you want or need to make work with that perception, then do it with the entitlement that you deserve. You're absolutely right to say that. You're absolutely right to protest that. You're absolutely right to stand up and say that you saw something, and to remember that, and that it's your culture and it's your world. And yeah, I wouldn't even say anything to them. I would just stay out their way and light the candles and sweep the temple and let them get on with it.
And finally, you have been in so many places and you really like to connect to people. What would you say you have learned about people, about communities, even in different places of the world, but they may have very common things?
Yeah, that. I mean, the great glory of traveling a lot, which is a great love of mine. I mean, truly, I remember the great reading in an obituary of the great Chris Marker that he said he became a filmmaker because he wanted to travel, and I have to say the same thing. And I just love to travel, and it's like the idea of having the capacity to take your work internationally that's really like very hypnotic for me. But just as traveling shows you the range of the planet, it also shows you how similar we are and how connectable we are. And the more languages there are that are difficult to learn and difficult to communicate in, the more we communicate. It's like a miracle, the more people are trying to actually make themselves understood, the more we understand each other. So it's quite simple, really. We're just scared little animals, and we're all the same.
Okay, Tilda, thank you so much again for being here at Javeriana University.
It's really my honor, Daniel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.